Okay, so here we have your box. First of all, this is what I call the remote. This is your educator remote. You do have to turn on both the remote and the collar for it to work, so that's what I want to show you right now. On the back of the remote here, there is a big on-off button right here. You're going to hold that down until your screen turns on, and there'll be a number and a button, or a number and a 1D in the top. There's another button on the back here on the side, a small button. That's the MC button, or the momentary and continual button. When you're using your collar, I want it to be only on continual. And if you look at the front screen here, there's an M and a C. I want you to hit the button on the back until it just says C. So I'm going to do that right now. And you'll see now there's a 1D blinking at the top. That means one dog. There's the C on the side, that's continual, and the number in the middle, that's your level. The level is changed up here by the dial. You can turn the dial up and down. I run her at about a 25 or 30 generally. Feel free to adjust that depending on the situation. If Violet's in a heightened situation, there's guests coming over, there's stuff going on, don't feel bad to turn it up. If you notice it's a little too much, then turn it down. That's really up to your guys' judgment. Next thing here is the collar. I'm going to put this back for a second. This is your collar right here. Now, there's not much you need to know about this other than the light on the front and the little red dot. The red dot right here, right there, that is the on-off switch, essentially. There's actually a magnet in there. There is a matching red dot on your remote right here. And you're going to turn that on, you're going to put those two dots together. So I'm going to touch dot to dot. The light's going to turn green. I'm going to pull it away, and this light will blink green. That means the collar's on and working. Now, if you want to test it, because the blinks are kind of slow, there's a button, a T button on the thumb side of your remote. If you hold that down, it's simply a vibrate, and it'll make your collar vibrate. Violet's not really conditioned to the vibrate. She's more conditioned to the different stimulations, so that's just a test. Kind of gives you a heads up of whether your collar's on or not. As far as this light here is concerned, if it's green, you're good to go. If it blinks orange, it's dying or the battery's about to die. If it blinks red, you've got about one stim before your collar dies. That being said, it only takes about 30 minutes to get a full charge, but I suggest that Violet wears this from the moment she wakes up in the morning until she goes to bed. Anytime she's going to be out of her crate or her kennel, she needs to be wearing this. That way you don't get caught without it. With a dog like her especially, who's very, very smart and pretty quick to learn patterns, she'll get smart to whether she has it on or not. So I'd like her to have it on, that way you're never without it and wishing you had it. Maybe she does something silly and you want to correct her for it and now you don't have the collar. There is a belt clip that'll be on this remote when you take it home too. Makes it really easy to wear. That way you're not without it. The last piece is the charger ports. Charger port on the back of your collar right here. You open that out, you plug it in. Same system on the back of the remote here. Plug it in. There is a charger in the box right there, and that'll go home with you as well. So that's your e-collar. Your other piece here is a training collar, and this is only used when you're walking. She doesn't need to wear this in the house. This is just for walking because she's very strong and very forward, and she wants to do things. She's real happy. This is basically just a way so you can keep control of her a little better than you would on a flat collar. Some people call this a pinch collar or a prong. We call it a prong. You can call it whatever you want. When putting this on, it needs to be flat like this. You can see that your chains can slip freely here. The pegs need to go on the dog's neck like this. Like pretend the dog's head isn't here. You're going to put it over top, and you're going to put one side in, kind of squeeze it, and both sides will slide in. I'll show you that again. I'm going to push it apart here. I'm going to put one peg in, squeeze it together, slide them in together. This collar and the e-collar need to sit high up on their neck here. That's actually a scientific based place. That's where the mother dog would correct them if she was to do that with her mouth. Also, if it's tight enough that it sits up top, it's not pushing on their trachea or their esophagus. This is the business end of the neck. This is where it needs to be, right up below their jaw. The e-collar especially needs to be strapped on pretty tight so it's not slipping down, up and down, especially with her big ruff there. She's got a lot of extra skin. You want to make sure you strap that down pretty tight so it's making contact. That being said, I'm going to go get her. I'm going to show you guys kind of what she does and what she's learned, but mostly I want you guys to pay attention to how I handle her and how I communicate with her. So we'll see you in a second. Okay, so now we have Miss Violet. We're going to kind of show you her cool stuff she's learned, and then we'll talk about how to use that further to gain the control you need in all the heightened situations. So the commands she knows right now are heel, sit, down, stay, come, and go place. She also understands corrections with the prong collar and corrections on the electric, and we'll talk about all that as we go. Before we get going here, hi baby, I want to talk really quickly about corrections. A correction is not a punishment, it's a guideline to the right answer. Dogs learn by your reaction, down. Good girl. Your dogs learn by your reaction to their latest action. So if the last thing they did was good, down. Good girl. If the last thing you did was good and you praise them for it, they're more likely to repeat that action. If the last thing they did was not what you wanted and you correct them for it, they're less likely to repeat that action. And that's really important. It's not a punishment, it's a guideline to the right answer. When Violet makes a mistake, like you saw her here, I told her to down, and she chose to stand back up. I gave her a quick little correction on her collar and told her down again. So I'm essentially always giving her the right answer. It's basically like me telling you, the answer is A, it's A, it's A, and eventually you're gonna pick A. That's your goal. When you give Violet commands, the way you talk to her is very important because it says a lot about you and about your security in your own self and your security as a leader for Violet. So it's broken down into really 3 parts, essentially. Good girl. It starts with her name. So Violet, good girl, sit. Yeah, good girl. And you really saw it perfectly right there. It starts with her name. Okay. The command and then my reaction to it. Violet, sit. Yeah. Violet, down. Good girl. There you go. Now, she has 2 choices when I give her a command. She can either do what I've said or not. And if she does the right thing, I'm going to praise her. I'm going to tell her she's a good girl. I'm going to pet her. I might give her a little piece of food. Whatever it may be that I have in my toolbox right now in my arsenal to make sure she understands that's what I wanted. Really with this dog, praising her is more important than correcting her because she really likes to be right. So the more often she's right, she's more likely to repeat that. And you'll start to notice her automatically doing those things. Right now, it's still fresh. So you're not going to see her make the perfect choice all the time. That's your job. It's your job to tell her what to do, which leads me to my next point. So let's say I told Violet to sit and she doesn't sit. I'm not going to get mad, I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm either going to make a quick pop to her collar and her leash like you saw here, or I'm going to use the button on my, down. Good girl. Or I'm going to use the button on my collar. When it's in my hand, there's 2 buttons under my index and my middle finger. One is black and one is red. The black button is the level of stimulation that's on your screen. The red is up 5. It's kind of a bonus button, if you will. So let's say, okay, Violet, down. Good girl. Let's say right there, I told her to down and she didn't down. Then I would say down again and I would hit the button. I would just bump down, down until she downs. Your ultimate goal with everything you say to this dog is to be able to reach a point where you can praise her. That's everything she does, you need to reach a point to praise her. Now, I know it looks very simple. The dog can sit, the dog can down, the dog can stay, it can do all those things. Violet, go place. Good girl. She can go to her place. But what I really want you guys to take away from this is where you can use these tools to have the dog that you really enjoy. So I remember specifically when I picked her up, when I came through the door, she was wild. She jumped all over, she was all over the counter, she was up on the counters, she was jumping everywhere, wiggling around. This is a perfect place to use your go place command. Someone knocks on the door, you say, Violet, go place, you make sure she goes there, and she must stay in her place until you release her within, okay, come on, there you go. Okay, she can get up. Good job, sister.
Talk about that okay.
So, come here, Violet. Go place. Good girl. So, right there you saw when I released her, I used the word okay. Okay means you can be free. You're done doing whatever it is I asked you to do, whether that's a place. Good girl. Whether that's a sit or a down or a go place. To be honest, that wasn't very fair because she just heard 3 okays in a row, but really, what she needs to do is understand that she needs to stay in obedience from the time you say her name until you release her with, okay, come. Good job, buddy. Violet, sit. Stay. So in a steak, sit. Violet, come on. There you go, sit. Good girl. Oh, come on, good, sit. There you go, stay. Violet, come on, sit. Come on. Sit. Super, stay. Good. Okay. So right there, you even saw some problem solving. She got a little confused. She wasn't sure whether to go to her spot or to lay down or whatever. A down. Good girl. A down stay is a lot easier for her, but I still work through it. I'm like, no, come on. And I helped her out. I'm not going to correct this dog for trying too hard. If your dog is trying to make the right choice and she's just a little clustered around, give her a second. Help her out. Help her go there. For instance, right there, I told her to sit and she wanted to lay down. That's not a big crime, but I did tell her to sit. So she must sit until I say, okay, can let her up. I know she's struggling. I know that she would rather lay down. It's more comfortable. Violet, sit. Come here, buddy. Come on. Yeah, there you go. And that's fine. I'm going to get that sit and then I'll help her out, down. And I'll let her lay down because I know that's what she prefers, but I still ask for a sit. This is really more important than showing that the dog can do the things. She's a lovely dog with a good attitude, and I want to make sure you guys continue to kind of feed that attitude while she's at home. Violet, down. Stay. Good girl. Okay, go place. Good job, buddy. Good job. Now, let's say you guys are walking, and there's another dog across the street, and Violet starts to get excited. In this situation, this is where I want you to use either your collar or the prong collar, and you're going to give her a clear indication that her bouncing around and losing her mind is not appropriate. As soon as she starts to get excitable, you're going to be like, heel. Give her a little verbal warning, make a little correction, this was my imaginary correction, on your leash, and then go back loose again. Your next step after correction is very important. You can't continue to stay mad at her. As soon as she makes a change in her behavior, as soon as she makes a different decision, which is the right one, you have to go back to being neutral to her. She is in no way, shape, or form ever looked at me and intentionally made the wrong choice. This dog simply didn't know what the right choice was and just kind of defaulted to as many things as she could come up with in the time given to fall upon the right one. That's something with her that you guys are going to have to be aware of. If you send her to her place, she goes halfway there and kind of gets lost, help her. Go place, and just help her go there. If she's on her place though, and she does get off, that's where you can use your remote collar, like I did over here when she went to sniff the caterpillar. She got off, I hit the button, I said go place, she went back, good girl. As far as the healing is concerned, okay, bye, come on. Good girl. The healing or the leash manners. Here you go, girlie, come here. Come here. That's my girl, come here. I'm gonna put on her prong collar, right here. There you go. She's supposed to go on your left side, heel, and walk on a loose leash, like you can see this big J. Right here. I don't want her to sniff around. It's not time for that. It's time to walk with me. So she put her nose on the ground. I gave her just a little tick, like, hey, don't do that. Good girl, Vi. When I stop, she should stay. Good job. Heel. Good girl. We're going to walk this way. Yeah, good girl. Heel. And heel means stay by my side. It does not mean pull on me. It doesn't mean go out to the end of my leash. It means stay right here. Stay with me. Good girl. That's fine. Good job. Super. Stay with me and do the right thing. Now, I don't care if there's another dog around. I don't care if there's a car driving by. I don't care. Mind your business. Stay with me and be cool. If you're walking or you think she might need to go to the bathroom or something like that, you're welcome to be like, okay, go potty. But release her from the heel with the okay. Okay, go do whatever you need. We're going to take a little walk outside right now. It's super rainy and gross, but I want to show you guys her loose recall on the field. So Follow me. Come on, girl. Sit. Wait. Wait. Okay. Come on. I'm gonna cut her loose here. Come on, bye. Good job. Come on. That's the girl. Good girl. Come. There you go. Good job, bud. Good job. Out. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Come. Good girl. Come over. Good job, buddy. So as you can see, she's real attentive. She sticks a lot closer than she used to. Violet, come. Yeah, good girl. When you're calling her, something that's really important is that you stay fun. Make it worth it to come back to you. If you're just hollering at her like, Violet, come, she's not gonna come. I wouldn't want to either. She might, but she's not gonna be happy about it. I make sure when I'm working a dog that I stay as rewarding as I can within reason. If she's off doing her own thing, you say her name, say come, she looks at you, praise. Praise her for looking at you. She needs some reassurance that she needs to come back. Good girl. Violet, come. Yeah, good girl. Good job, buddy, come. Good girl. Sit. Super dog. There you go. Okay. If you notice she's hustling back to you 100 miles an hour and you think she might jump, call for a sit. Head her off at the pass and give her the right answer. The last little piece of information I want to give you guys before we end this video is corrections for things you don't ever want to happen. So let's say she goes to jump on a guest or jump on you. I don't put a command on that. I may tell her no for jumping, but I would turn my collar up and hit the button and just make the correction come from the action, not from you. If, let's say she goes to jump on the counter and you see she's about to raise up, wait for her to raise up and then hold that button down, make her stop. And as soon as she kind of looks at you like, whoa, what happened? Then praise her. That's a good girl, good job. Praise the decision to stay off the counter, but don't pair those corrections with any words or commands. Those are things I don't ever want her to do. I don't want her to steal my bread. I don't want her to jump on people, period. So we joke that they're the Jesus corrections or the God corrections. They came from the sky. I don't know what happened. Just don't do it again. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this dog. She is a lovely dog. And we really look forward to working with you guys in the future. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. We'll see you soon.